Children grew up in the canal zone, born between two oceans. Workers sang as they dug. Work songs from the Caribbean filled the Calabar Cut. Their music kept the pace. On Sundays, canal zone churches were packed. Faith was the one thing the Silver Roll owned that nobody could take away. Many workers died with no documentation, no name recorded, just a silver token in a mass grave. The men on the Silver Roll built the locks, poured the concrete, laid the stone. Their hands built the thing that changed the world. Their children would grow up to become Panamanians. The West Indian community built the country that the canal made possible. It took 100 years for Panama to formally recognize the West Indian contribution. In 2006, a national monument was finally dedicated. The most dangerous job was the powder crew. One mistake, and you were gone. The Canal Zone Hospital became one of the finest medical facilities in the world. Knowledge gained fighting yellow fever changed medicine globally. The mosquito theory had actually been proven by Cuban Dr. Carlos Finley in 1881. The Americans took credit. His name was nearly erased from history. In 1907, workers went on strike demanding equal pay. The army broke the strike, but the story of resistance had begun. A whole society grew up around the canal. Towns, schools, markets. A culture neither fully American nor fully Panamanian. Thousands wrote letters home to the Caribbean. The work is hard, one wrote. But I am building something bigger than myself. The locks required 4.5 million cubic yards of concrete, poured continuously for 3 years without stopping. Each lock gate weighs 700 tons. They're hollow, engineered to float. When the water pressure equalizes, a 12-year-old could push one open. When they tested the first lock gate in 1913, it swung open perfectly on the first try. The engineers wept. From above at night, the completed locks looked like a cathedral of concrete, the largest structure ever built by human hands up to that point. October 10, 1913, President Wilson pressed a button in Washington, D.C. that set off the final blast in the Calabar Cut. The Atlantic and Pacific Oceans connected for the first time in geological history. A continent was cut. On January 7, 1914, the SS Cristobal made the first complete crossing. Not a battleship, a cement boat. 10 years, 75,000 workers, 4,500 dead from accidents, 5,600 dead from disease. A continent cut in two. And on the banks of the Calabar Cut, now renamed Gallard Cut after the engineer who led the excavation, the jungle stood quietly on both sides, still watching. August 15, 1914, the Panama Canal officially opened. The SS Ancon made the inaugural crossing. The world barely noticed. On the exact same day, World War I had just begun in Europe. Every journalist in the world was covering the trenches, not the canal. The greatest engineering achievement in human history ran on page 3. But even in wartime, ships started coming. The first year, 1,000 ships. The second year, 2,000. Ships began to be designed around the canal's dimensions. The Panamax was born, a vessel class built specifically to squeeze through with just 2 feet to spare on each side. Imagine a ship 965 feet long, 106 feet wide, entering a 110-foot wide chamber. That's 2 feet of clearance, each side. Panama Canal pilots are some of the most skilled navigators in the world. Every crossing is guided by a specially trained pilot who knows every inch of the channel. The electric mule locomotives on the lock walls have guided ships since 1914. The same system, still working. Through the 1920s and 30s, the canal became the spine of American naval power. Warships moved between oceans in hours instead of weeks. In World War II, the canal moved entire fleets. It gave America a naval advantage that no other country could match. Japan considered attacking the Panama Canal in 1942. It would have crippled American war logistics. They decided the defenses were too strong. The Canal Zone was one of the most heavily defended places on Earth during World War II. The entire zone was militarized. After the war, global trade exploded. The canal was widened, deepened, improved. It was the engine of a connected world. By 1960, the canal was handling 10,000 ships per year, and the United States controlled every aspect of it. But for Panamanians, the canal in their country was in a foreign territory. Americans lived in air-conditioned houses. Panamanians lived outside the fence. Every Panamanian child grew up learning that the canal was built on their land and controlled by someone else. In 1964, it erupted. Panamanian students tried to fly their flag in the canal zone alongside the American flag. U.S. soldiers fired on protesters. 21 Panamanians and 4 Americans died. Panama broke off diplomatic relations with the United States. The world watched. For the first time, international opinion was turning against American control of the canal. After the riots, U.S. presidents knew the canal's ownership had to change. But how do you give away a national asset? Omar Torrijos became Panama's leader in 1968. Rash, nationalist, and absolutely determined to take back the canal. Torrijos took his case to the United Nations. 13 of 15 Security Council members voted to support Panama's right to the canal. The U.S. vetoed. Jimmy Carter decided to do the right thing, even if it cost him politically. And it did. The Carter-Torrijos treaties were signed in 1977. America would hand over the canal on December 31, 1999. The U.S. Senate debate was brutal. Critics called it surrender. Carter called it justice. It passed by one vote. Ronald Reagan made the Panama Canal his signature issue in 1976. We built it. We paid for it. It's ours. He nearly derailed the treaties. In Panama, people celebrated knowing they would have to wait 21 more years. Through the 1980s, Panama began training its own canal engineers and administrators. The handover was prepared with military precision. The 1980s brought complication. Panama's dictator Manuel Noriega had been a CIA asset and was now running drugs through the canal zone. In 1989, the U.S. invaded Panama, removed Noriega, and installed a democratic government. The canal handover would proceed. Through the 1990s, 9,000 American employees handed over 110 years of operational knowledge to Panamanian workers. On December 31, 1999, the last American flag came down from the canal zone. At the stroke of midnight, Panama took control of its canal, 96 years after the U.S. had taken the zone, after 33,000 deaths, after everything. The first person to sign as head of the Panama Canal Authority was President Mireya Moscoso, Panama's first female president. The next morning, the Panamanian staff ran the canal perfectly, without missing a single scheduled transit. The canal that France started, America finished, and Panama finally owned was open for business under its third flag. Under Panamanian management, the canal became more profitable than it had ever been. Revenue doubled within a decade. Today, the canal generates over $2 billion a year for Panama, transforming one of Latin America's poorest nations into one of its most prosperous. And every Panamanian child now visits the canal on a school trip. This is theirs. But by 2006, Panama faced a problem. The world's ships were getting bigger than the canal. A new generation of post-Panamax ships had been built, too wide for the original locks. Panama was missing half the world's fleet. Panama held a national referendum. Should we spend $5.25 billion, a third of national GDP, to build a third lane? 77% said yes. Panama voted to reinvent its own canal. Construction began in 2007. A third lane, 2 new sets of locks, one on the Atlantic, one on the Pacific. The new locks featured a revolutionary innovation: water-saving basins that recycle 60% of the water from each lockage. The old locks wasted all of it. 40,000 workers, around the clock. A new canal being built while the old one kept running without stopping. The new locks required more concrete than the original locks and Gatun Dam combined. The Gallard Cut was widened by 45 meters, so 2 Neo-Panamax ships could pass each other in the narrowest point. In 2012, workers struck for better pay. The expansion was delayed. The parallel with the original construction's labor struggles was not lost on anyone. Cost overruns nearly derailed everything. The construction consortium demanded $1.6 billion in extras. Panama refused. Negotiations took 2 years. Despite every setback, they finished. On June 26, 2016, 9 years after breaking ground, the first ship to cross the new locks was a Chinese container ship, a symbol of who was now driving global trade. The new locks can handle ships 3 times larger than the old ones. The canal's capacity nearly doubled overnight. Within a year, shipping routes around the world recalculated. Ports on the U.S. East Coast invested billions to deepen their harbors for the new ships. Today, the entire canal is managed from a single control room with fewer than 50 operators, 75,000 workers reduced to 50. Autonomous tugboats and AI-assisted navigation are now being tested. The canal, built in 1914, is adopting 21st century technology. The canal's revenues have transformed Panama City into one of Latin America's most modern capitals. On a typical day, 36 ships make the crossing. That's one every 40 minutes. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. In 2023, the canal generated $4.7 billion in revenue, making it the single largest contributor to the Panamanian economy. The canal now handles cargo that didn't exist when it was built: liquid natural gas, megaton mining ships, aircraft carrier battle groups. On any morning, you can see flags from 50 nations in the queue. The canal is the world's crossroads. The toll for one large container ship crossing the canal today, up to $400,000, paid in seconds. Before every crossing, a Panama Canal pilot boards the ship. They take full command, even from the captain, until the other side. Panama publishes the canal's finances publicly every year. It is one of the most transparent infrastructure operations in the world. The Miraflores Locks Visitor Center now draws 200,000 tourists a year. The canal itself is a tourist attraction. The canal depends entirely on rainfall. So Panama now protects over 500,000 acres of watershed rainforest. The canal is only as healthy as the jungle around it. The canal never sleeps. Night crossings are as routine as day. The world's commerce does not wait for the sun. Maintaining the canal requires constant dredging, inspection, and repair. Over 9,000 people work for the Panama Canal Authority today. Every year, one lock chamber is drained for inspection. Workers walk the floor of a space that normally holds millions of gallons of water. The Panama Canal is one of the few places on Earth where American, Chinese, Russian, and Iranian ships queue peacefully side by side. 1 million cruise passengers transit the canal every year, watching the same jungle walls that killed 22,000 workers a century ago. Training a Panama Canal pilot takes 5 years. The knowledge is passed from generation to generation, a living inheritance. The lock system has no pumps. Water flows through culverts, tunnels built into the walls by gravity alone. 100 years of perfect hydraulic engineering. The first LNG-powered container ship crossed in 2021. The future of clean shipping using infrastructure built in 1914. The canal's digital systems are a target for cyber attacks. A locked canal would cost the global economy billions per day. In 2019, the largest ship ever to cross the canal transited the new locks, carrying 14,000 containers. A single ship carrying enough goods to fill 14,000 trucks. The canal's shortcut eliminates 12,000 miles per voyage. It saves an estimated 650 million tons of CO2 per year that ships would otherwise emit going around Cape Horn. By 2035, autonomous ships may cross without a human pilot. The canal that required 75,000 workers to build may one day run with almost none. The canal now ships wind turbine blades, satellites, and components for nuclear reactors. Cargo the builders of 1914 could not have imagined. At the midpoint of every crossing, a ship sits in Gatun Lake surrounded by nothing but rainforest and sky, alone between two oceans. Every engineer who works here knows they are custodians of something that belongs to history, to Panama, and to the world. But in 2023, something unprecedented happened. Satellite images showed Gatun Lake a full 3 meters below normal. The drought was not an anomaly. Scientists said it was the new reality. The Panama Canal Authority announced it was limiting ships to 25 per day, down from 36. The queue outside grew to 160 ships. Gatun Lake dropped to its lowest level since the canal opened. The same lake that powers the locks. The same locks that move 5% of world trade. Global shipping costs spiked. Supply chains disrupted. The price of everything that crosses the canal rose. Climate scientists say Panama is getting drier. El Niño patterns are intensifying. The rainfall that feeds Gatun Lake is becoming unreliable. Panama is planning a new reservoir that would cost $2 billion and take 10 years to build. Construction hasn't started. Meanwhile, rivals are circling. A Nicaragua canal has been proposed repeatedly. Arctic shipping routes are opening as ice melts. China now operates ports at both ends of the canal. The United States is watching nervously, echoes of the 1964 sovereignty crisis. In 2025, American politicians began asking, out loud, whether the United States should take back the Panama Canal. Panamanians responded with a single word, no, this canal is ours. We will not go back. But through all the politics, through the droughts and the disputes, the ships keep coming. The canal's revenues have built hospitals, schools, and roads across Panama. The investment in human lives that was never made during construction is being paid back now. The grandchildren of silver roll workers now run the canal their grandfathers built. A West Indian grandmother, an American engineer, a Panamanian president, and the canal they all made. Every crossing is ordinary now. That's the greatest compliment engineering can receive, when the extraordinary becomes invisible. The physics haven't changed. Water flows downhill. Ships float. Gravity does the work. The canal is a lesson in working with nature, not against it. The Gallard Cut, where France failed and America nearly broke, is now just a beautiful stretch of water that ships cross every 40 minutes. Every ship that crosses does it in 8 to 10 hours. Every one of them passes through 110 years of human history. 110 years. The same cut through the same jungle. Still running. Still moving the world. Every face that built it suffered for it, died for it. They are in the walls of these locks. In the water. In every ship that passes. On a quiet evening, the canal looks like it has always been there. Like nature made it. That is the final triumph of the engineers. Before the canal, months at sea, continents separated by oceans. After the canal, a connected world. One cut changed everything. 77 kilometers of water. 100 years of human sacrifice, ambition, injustice, and genius. And the world's commerce flowing through it every single day. The Panama Canal, cut through a continent, built on sacrifice, fought over for a century, and still, quietly, reliably, connecting the world. Every day, men and women come to work here and do something extraordinary, without thinking of it as extraordinary at all. That is the Panama Canal, and it was never impossible. It just needed someone willing to try. Subscribe to SG Nova Facts for more histories that show the real story behind the names you trust.